What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a Thursday episode of Clapback Culture. I'm your girl, Jessie, and I am so glad to be home. Back here in my yellow cozy chair. Listen, you guys, it has been a little bit of time has passed since I got to come and join you live, but listen, I am here, baby, home pulled up. If you haven't already, make sure you share the stream. Let somebody know that you're watching the show tonight because guess what? I got a lot of hot topics I want to talk about. Later on in the show, we're going to bring in Rado. He's going to come in and co-host and give some, some warm opinions, unfiltered opinions as he always does. So again, thank you for tuning in. Trey Holiday, I see you in the comment section, baby girl. Love you, sis. Glad you could pull up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Y'all, okay, I know you guys have heard about this one chip challenge where you eat this like really super spicy, it's almost like a Dorito. You eat like a really spicy like tortilla chip, and it has like the most hottest peppers from around the world, like kind of like infused into this one chip. And so you're supposed to eat it. Some people have done it. I've seen it on YouTube as a prank. Well, this story rather is not so funny. A 14-year-old actually fell dead shortly after the one chip challenge. Let's take a look.
New at 5, an East Coast family is mourning after the sudden death of a 14-year-old. The teen's family believes his death is tied to a social media trend called the One Chip Challenge. It involves eating a Pocky chip without eating or drinking anything for relief. A Massachusetts teen ate that spicy chip on Friday. Hours later, he was found passed out and rushed to the hospital where he later died. The exact cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Now, the chip maker's website says only adults should consume this chip and warns of adverse effects, which may include difficulty breathing.
So this is a sad story, you guys, and another one of those situations where you just think about like, dang, viral challenge gone wrong again. However, I feel like there has to be some type of like underlying health condition that this guy experienced, or this young teen rather, before all of this happened. I mean, can you imagine? Like, this seems so harmless and, at its face that you're just thinking like you're just consuming something really hot. But, be careful, you guys, be vigilant. Please don't pull pranks on anybody with this kind of mess, because honestly, this is just one of those situations where you just never know what could happen. And so this young man did lose his life shortly after. The autopsy report is still not in. And so they're trying to investigate what specifically happened, but it did happen just hours after he did this one chip challenge. So could have been something that maybe sparked something else. You never know. So this could be like a ricocheted effect. So again, stay vigilant, you guys. Listen, Enrique Tarrio, the ex-leader of Proud Boys, was sentenced to, get this, you guys, 22 years in the January 6th sedition case. So as you guys may have heard, Enrique Tarrio, he led the Proud Boys during that period of time when the far left extremists moved from, the fringes all the way into the center, kind of encompassing all of the national media and conservative politics. And so the Proud Boys were at the front of that. And in the lead of that group was Enrique Tarrio. Well, interesting enough about this case, you guys, is that Tarrio wasn't even there on January 6th. So he wasn't physically involved in the insurrection. However, he was the leader. And so they added him at the top of this conspiracy. I see Rado has joined us. He knows a lot about conspiracy cases. Let's go ahead and add him on in so he can join this conversation.
Clap back.
What's up, Rado? Glad to have you.
I want to bring a little bit of my craziness. I've been missing Clap Back. How's everybody? I see everybody's tuned in. It is so good to see you, Jules. And the whole Clap Back community. Thank you.
So listen, Enrique Tarrio, ex-leader of the Proud Boys. I'm just talking about that attack on the Capitol, the insurrection. Again, here I am in DC on January 6th when this happened. Enrique Tarrio, he's at the top of this conspiracy case. You know a lot about conspiracies.
Yeah.
He got 22 years in prison for having that central role that he played in organizing this gang, if you will, of pro-Trump supporters to kind of attack the Capitol. We do have a clip. So before I get your comments, let's play this clip that kind of explains everything, and then we'll come back and I want to get your take.
Okay.
Proud boy Enrique Tarrio hit with 22 years in prison for leading the effort on that day. His was on January 6th. His was crazy. He wasn't even in the Capitol on January 6th because he got arrested on January 4th when he led the effort to tear down that Black Lives Matter flag at a black church. And so they arrested him, sent him out of the city. He went to Baltimore, but he stayed in contact with folks that day. He got the longest sentence out of everybody associated that day. He effed around and found out, Joe. And here's what the federal judge said. Mr. Tarrio was the ultimate leader of the conspiracy. Mr. Tarrio was the ultimate leader, the ultimate person who organized, who was motivated by revolutionary zeal. This is U.S. District Court Judge Timothy Kelly. That conspiracy ended up with about 200 men amped up for battle encircling the Capitol. He got a long time, Joe, to think about that day.
Yeah, so that's just, so can I start? Can I get into this?
Go ahead, get into it. Get into it.
So the word conspiracy means to conspire with two or more, right? Which is a crazy because the whole conspiracy theory came, and this whole RICO thing came with them trying to indict mobsters. You know, back in the day, the mobsters were so slick they couldn't get caught and all those things. So that's where this whole conspiracy comes in. Does he deserve time? Yes. Does he deserve this kind of time? No. So one, it's a slap in the face as he's being charged, and Trump is not. Obviously, they keep wanting to say he devised all these plans. This man, to me, seems like he devised the plan to come on the Capitol in March. But I don't see any evidence where they said he was going to come on the Capitol and kill, right? Mm-hmm. Trump basically sent his Proud Boys, like he always do, and started an insurrection on January the 6th.
Right.
The whole world knows it. He did it on national TV. It wasn't a secret. And the real leader in this conspiracy is Trump. It's mind-boggling to me how someone could be charged who wasn't even on the scene. So, so this guy got more time and wasn't even there. Amazing.
Well, okay. So now I wanna. I'm not saying this is right. When I'm in a conflict in this situation because I want justice to be served, but I also want justice to be equal and fair, right? And we know that those two things typically do not
go together.
They don't go together.
Yes.
There's not a happy marriage between the two things. And so I'll say this. Enrique Tarrio effed around and found out, because this is what happens when you go against your own people. See, you keep following all these white boys trying to do what they do. And for him to be the only person of color, he's also the person at the top of this case, and he got burned. So his co-defendants, I think there was like 5 to 7 other co-defendants. It was still a stair step in terms of the amount that they got, but they put him at the top of the case. So some people got 17 years, 15 years, 12 years, 10 years. The prosecution was asking for 33. So he got more. He got he got so much time. I mean, there's still a huge difference between 22 years, you guys, and 33 years. But I'm like, dang, this is a lot of time for physically not even being there. But again, federal courts do what, Rodney? They take over the mind. And so anybody who is the mastermind, someone who can creatively put together these kind of systems, they are the most powerful source. And then everyone else almost seems like a runner, if you will. What's interesting also about this case is what Tarrio decided to tell the judge. And what he tells the judge is that, not only am I sorry, have mercy on me, but I'm not going to have anything to do with politics. I'm not going to have anything to do with organizing protests and things of that nature. And if I had the opportunity, not only would I would love to apologize in person to the people that I hurt. And so I think it's funny that he's totally walking this back, in addition to saying that he was totally brainwashed. Right now, is that true or not true? I would argue that some of this is true, because if you look at a lot of Trump Republicans, they're totally different than your typical conservatives that we've had in the past. And so I think the Republican Party is getting a damaged name because of these kind of Proud Boys and these Trump supporters. Because to your point that you had in the beginning is that Trump rallied these kind of they rallied up this kind of, they stirred the pot. He stirred
Absolutely.
the pot and got the and galvanized this kind of energy from people.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, Terrio's taking the hit, but what about Trump, who called him in? You see what I'm saying?
He's gonna skate right through. Trump always skates through unscathed. He'll be someone who makes all these excuses. I mean, Trump came into, people don't understand this. Trump came into presidency with open cases. The nerve. Came into presidency with open cases. He left with open cases, and guess what? He still got open cases.
Mugshot just dropped last week? A new mugshot out of the state of Georgia.
And what they say he made about $6 million just off of the mugshot alone. So I mean, Trump, if you want to be ignorant, we could say he's the greatest to do it, right? That's what a lot of people say ignorantly. But needless to say, Trump was the leader in taking the lives of those innocent officers and those other people who were trampled. We talk about the ones who lost their life. We don't talk about the ones who had broken bones, because there were a lot of people trampled. There was a lot of people beaten. It was just out of control. Trump continues to do this without remorse. He continues to does it, most importantly, without consequence. So now, and you have to excuse me, Jules, because you hate when I have this pro-Black approach, right? You hate it on your show, right? But I have to be unapologetically Black because for these reasons. I feel obligated to stand up as a strong Black man because the rest of America won't. You guys really don't see the audacity of America doing this for the last 1,000 years, right? In which they hang us, Black people, right? By the rope on a continuous basis. This guy got the most time. He got 20 years, right?
Right.
He never sent a command to kill anybody. He wasn't even there and got more time than the people who was actually there. Tell me, make it make sense. Make it make sense, Jules.
Listen, and that's why, the judge was explaining why he imposed this 22-year sentence. And he was saying that, and I agree with this, is extremely serious an offense. But he added that, and I quote, that Terrio was ultimately the leader of that conspiracy and had been motivated by revolutionary zeal. And so, we can't dumb down January 6th because it's no longer January 6th. Exactly. That it was outrageous what happened, right? Like, to be in the District of Columbia, blocks away from the Capitol when that happened. You remember I was saying, like, I'm going home early. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next. And so you think about the level of trauma.
Let the audience know, because they really don't know that you work blocks away.
Yeah, like, for real, you guys, if you guys remember, over the last couple of years, I was working downtown. And so I was very close to the Capitol on the day of the insurrection. In fact, I work on Pennsylvania Avenue. And so this is one of those situations where it's like, you don't know what's going to happen. And because the District of Columbia doesn't have federal control, we don't get to just call in the National Guard. And so the Metropolitan Police Department were totally outnumbered. These guys were armed in military style gear with weapons, and they came to wreak havoc. And so this isn't one of those situations where you just look at it and say, well, they threw papers around and broke windows and guess what? This was a total. It was an attempt to overthrow the government, and to really take a shot at democracy. So, do I agree with the 22 sentence?
No, I don't.
I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot, but then I also think about a lot of people's lives were lost. And so what is the value of a life? And so
but was it done on his command, right? So I do understand that.
Yes, it was done on his command.
No, well, it's like this. Power is spoken, right? It's spoken with the tongue, right? So I understand that there are casualties at times, but can we honestly say that he made the command to march on Capitol and kill someone?
No. So,
So can we argue that this could be a case of manslaughter? Because when we think about it, right, manslaughter is basically an accidental death, right? He said, "Let's march on." When people say "let's march," right, we march and we protest to have our point, right, to have our point amplified, right, in ways, right. And I think that's what he was going for. But I don't think that the prosecutor or anybody in this case can really show this black man saying, "Hey, go to the Capitol, be so aggressive that you storm it, that you break down that door, and that you kill someone." No, that didn't happen.
But be careful with the law here, because when you're in the commission of a crime and something else happens, if I go in to rob you and you die as a result to me robbing you, it's not manslaughter, that's murder, right?
Yeah.
So we got to think about the way in which, like, you didn't go in trying to have a conversation. You went in armed, loaded, and ready to do some damage.
Also,
so I think the intention was already set. The intention was bad, and it was already set to do harm. Did you think you? And then now here we are. The cards are all laid out on the table. Consequences are now being delved out. At the end of the day, you made your bed.
This is what I'm saying. The law has already put levels and degrees in place for this, right? So we have murder, that's first degree, second degree, third degree murder. When we have robbery, that's first degree, second degree, because they're holding you accountable for your action, but they're also holding you accountable for the actions in which you meant and didn't, right?
And the actions of other people.
Yeah. So I do believe that 22 years is out of control. How can you give this guy 22 years if he did not, for a fact, command anyone to kill anyone or hurt anyone?
Well, because the word, it goes back to what you said before. Conspiracy is conspiracy is conspiracy is conspiracy.
We're gonna argue about this all day. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next topic.
All right, worth talking about. And again, we'll keep up on the case with Donald Trump. He is due in court. He did try to get he's in court for something different, not for the January 6th, but for causing a stir in the state of Georgia.
I'm sure that Trump will be in court a lot more times in the future. We'll be talking about him for a long time.
We'll see. All right, you guys. Something interesting. Carly Russell's ex-boyfriend finally decided to speak out a month after Carly Russell decided to tell the truth that she faked her own kidnapping.
This was good.
This was good, but I wish that the boyfriend, his name is Tomar Simmons, and he did a 25-minute interview on a podcast. It's really just like a video, a point and shoot video with like him and his homeboy, and they're sitting on this like dirty little couch, and they got the music in the background, and it's really hard to hear them. And anyway, it's not a very good conversation, but pulling from the conversation, he's starting the conversation being like, "Hey guys, like I've been totally traumatized by my ex-girlfriend, Carly Russell, who lied about the kidnapping, but I don't want any clout, but I want to promote everything else that I'm doing." Okay.
He protect himself though. He protecting himself.
He is protecting himself. I wanted to bring it to the conversation because I wanted to say, "I told you so." And I want to say, "I told you so," because this girl, Carly Russell.
Hold on. Let me give you your flowers, because you did say you definitely.
I said the only reason a woman would go that far with a lie and that crazy is if she was trying to do something because something happened between her and her man.
Ain't no question.
Tomar said, "Listen, we got into an argument before she decided to say she was kidnapped," but he was like, it wasn't really even that big of an argument, so I don't know why she ended up going that far. So
you know what it is? He's slanging that joint. He's slanging it. He's slanging it to the point where he made. Hey, Lucy, am I slanging it like that? Because I want to know.
Listen. Our kids are watching right now.
Are you about to fake a kidnapping?
Listen, I've done, admittedly, I have done a lot of crazy things to ensure my love for you.
Oh
Uh,
man.
some things I'm not so proud of. A
Okay.
lot of crazy moments, which is why I
But did
know
you
for a
fake
fact.
kidnapping? Did you kidnap one of the kids, or was
No,
there
I
baby
didn't.
involved?
But listen, listen, ladies, tap in. Tori, I see you're online. Listen, tap in, y'all. Have you ever done something crazy when it pertains to getting your man back? Like sometimes when you go through a breakup or you're just going through something with your man, it's like you just that's why I bust your windows out your car. Listen, it's why there's songs like that.
It's
It's why
real.
you
It's
set
real.
people up. Listen,
It's
don't
real.
take a kidnapping like Carly Russell. But what I'm
No.
saying is, I knew it. I knew that girl was started tripping
Yep.
because of this situation, because of
Yep.
her man.
Yep.
So there's that. I mean,
My
we can go ahead and put a
man.
bow on the topic because he's kind of like the conversation was really corny in terms of like him just like I don't know, like
Yeah.
your 15 minutes of fame is up, honey. If he had went on a different platform and had did this like really sad boy act, I think he would have got like a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it really wasn't giving that. But we do appreciate you letting us know that the argument is what kicked all this off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my thing is this. So I didn't get a chance to watch a full interview. Social media make us so lazy now. It
Yeah,
forces us not to read because social media will dissect, right, an entire conversation, an entire interview, and just give us the juicy stuff. So the part that I caught was when he was like, man, he was like, the argument wasn't even that serious. He was like, he was like, for real, we was beefing, we was arguing, but it wasn't even like
it
it's
won't give him that.
it
Yeah,
given that. So he was kind of shocked by the extent of what she took. But he was, man, he was on the ropes. He was basically, man, hands up. I don't have nothing to do with this. I don't have nothing to do with her. So obviously, this kind of made him a celebrity, right? And I'm saying that because we a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the whole what's your girl name? The actress and her boyfriend, Kiki Palmer.
mm-hmm.
We were trying to figure out why her and her I don't know even
Father,
the X-Men, right?
ex-boyfriend.
They was just at lunch having birthday dinner and stuff. So, but anyway, we were talking about how why is they going back and forth online, right? And we haven't experienced that kind of pressure because we're just normal people. But to get 15, 16,000 messages in your DMs, on your page, on in every corner, asking you the same questions puts a lot of pressure on people. And that's what happened, not just with Carly, but also with the boyfriend. So while we think he was in the shadows, he wasn't. We weren't following him, but the biggest trolls, and there's a lot of trolls in this world, got his name, his information, put it on their pages, and I'm sure he has been getting swarmed with just inappropriate craziness. So he just
Yeah,
clear the air. He
yeah,
just say, man, forget it. Let's clear the air, man. So I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? But I think now he can kind of go away. She
yeah,
that
yeah.
time to go. She about to get that time.
Listen, the merrier. So this is somebody we want to see brought to justice because this was a lot. So
Yeah, it was.
but yeah, so again, told you so. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This is a crazy story. An 11-year-old boy is going to stand trial as an adult.
What?
This is the case. I brought this case to you guys. I can't remember how long ago this was.
I hope you got a clip for this. This is crazy.
I don't have a clip, but I have an explanation of the story. So he was 10 years old at the time when he fatally shot his mother over that the virtual reality headset, that the VR goggles. And so what happened was in the morning he had asked, he had been asking his mom for the VR headset and she told him no.
Yeah.
And he shot her
Yeah.
at a very close range.
Yeah.
Shot her in the head at close range. Lied about it, said it was an accident, then confessed to a family member that he confessed to a family member that he did in fact shoot his mother and he confessed solely because he wanted Well, hold on. He confessed because he wanted the family member to provide him the tracking number to the VR headset that he purchased with his dead mother's credit card on his dead mother's Amazon account the day after he killed her.
Okay, so let's back up. I'll let you finish narrating this. I need to get this straight. So you're telling me that he killed his mom, and because she took the VR while she was dead, he used her credit card and ordered another one?
No, he killed his mother because she wouldn't buy him the VR. He killed her, shot her in the head, and then the next day got on his mom's Amazon account, ordered the VR headset.
I wonder if I would kill my
kid to the family because they didn't arrest him because they're still under investigation. So they released the child to a family member, to his grandmother, and he admitted it to his aunt and said, "Yes, I did kill my mom. Now, can you hurry up and give me that tracking information on my VR?"
I wonder if I would kill my child. That's a real question. I'm trying to put myself in this place, right? Whereas because we have a 12-year-old, and I wonder if Rigo felt that way and came in and killed you or his mom. First of all, he's going to the type of butt whooping he's going to get is just out of control.
What kind of butt whooping could you give? Like,
so first of all, it's done with weapons. So first of all, let's get that straight. It's being done with weapons. He's getting treated like, I don't know, it's out of control. But
I think you're saying that, but I think the reality of a situation like this is that you're thinking about a kid who's normal. Now think about a kid who is not normal.
I don't think this kid's not normal. I think the kid is very normal. I think that moms give boys too much leeway. There is a clear-cut difference between how moms and dads parent. And I think moms create kids this way. I blame the son. He should be charged as an adult. And I hate to say this, but in my head, even though that mom was strict at that time, the ball was dropped somewhere in which that son feel obligated that he can get that off. Moms that put the fear of God in kids don't move like that. We know moms in the hood. Some of us had those moms. I had one of those moms that you didn't even cuss around, even play around, right? I had a grandma like that, right? And then you got some of these moms that enable these boys because that's their baby, and that's 90% of moms. But he felt that he can get this off and feel no remorse as of now. And this was a totally loving mom that I can feel it.
Let me give you a little bit more context into the mental state of this child. So the siblings told police that their brother had been meeting with a therapist concerning this diagnosis. The mother was in fear of her child, that she actually placed cameras inside their home. 6 months before this, he filled a balloon with flammable liquid and set it on fire, which caused the sectional in the carpet in his home to catch on fire. He was having violent acts to animals. And when it first happened, the grandmother in this case was like, "Oh, no, I don't want to take him because I know he did this." Like, this was one of those that they kind of felt that inclination. So they always knew that this child was kind of off. The grandmother says that he had told her, that he had been hearing voices and things of that nature. Again, I don't know how necessarily true that is. I think that children have access to videos and things to kind of say. But this is one of those cases where you can't relate to it, I think, unless you're in that situation.
You can. You can. So it goes back to, and I'm gonna say this in this instance, to all the fathers that's watching, we need you badly.
Yeah.
All he needed was a good ass whooping. And not a mom's ass whooping, a dad's ass whooping. So there's a total difference if you guys don't know the difference, right? Mom threatens kids, pops them, and does a lot of aggressive talking, right? And less whooping. Dads, we do less talking and more ass whoopings, okay? There's a total different First of all, no, a real man is no son running that house. Okay.
Right.
So when I come in that house, you're going to revere me, or I'm already whooping your ass. You ain't even had to do nothing. Okay. So you can tell that this was a fatherless house. And I and I'm sorry for that, because this is what's happening with our young boys that are in the streets now, our adolescents that's acting out. Most of them are single parent homes, and we love our strong queens, but strong queens cannot raise our kings on their own. They cannot teach boys how to be men.
I agree with that. I agree.
If a dad was in that house, the fear of God would have been in that house. And I don't care what nobody say. Oh, you shouldn't be mean on your kids. Stop it. Little boys need their ass whooping. They need to be put in line for this. And my heart goes out to this queen who lost her life because she got a spoiled ass little kid. He need to be getting his ass whooped from now until he 18. That's what I need. So they need to address me as the national ass whooper.
But you know what though? Like, yes, don't spare the rod for the child, or whatever the saying is. But you can't just think you're going to implement a bunch of ass whoopings and not have any structure and any love. So there has to be full circle, and there has to be balance. You can't think that you're just going to whoop and discipline your kids, and then there's an absence of love and structure and routine and comfort and all of those other things that make a child revere you. Like, in order to get that respect, that child has to trust you. They have to know that you're going to have, yes, they do. You can't think that you're going to just keep, because otherwise it's just abuse. You can't just think, do this, and then,
so we're not talking about we're not talking about abuse. Okay. There's a thin line between that and abuse.
But with discipline, hold on though, because let me finish my thought. With discipline, don't get it twisted. With discipline, there has to be balance too. You can't think that because it's the same way. You can't give your kids everything that they want and then think that they're just going to be grateful. It doesn't happen like that. There has to be a balanced household, and in order to have a balanced household, there has to be structure, discipline, routine, all of that kind of stuff. But you can't have one without the other. They have to balance it. They have to balance each other out.
I agree with that, but I also disagree with that, because you're talking about a perfect household, right? Or close to perfect household. And that's something that I feel that I bring, because I have a mixture of love, discipline, and all those different things, right? But what I will say, even without that love, trust and believe that fear from a man will breed that respect. And, and that's all you need to get away from instances like this. It doesn't mean that
let's say you have a mom who brings that comfort, that love, that understanding, and all of that. And then your dad, the only thing he ever does is discipline. That dad is never going to get the respect that he deserves out of his child if that's all he brings to the table.
But that has been the male's role for a long time.
But there's balance, right? Like, I had a dad who was very balanced. Like, my mom would always say, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna deal with it when your dad gets home," right? That's what you're talking about. That revere is like, dang, oh my God, please don't let my dad come home. Let me hurry up and try to like fix this, because mom is not gonna do it in the same way.
Absolutely.
But you have to break them down and build them up. So it's like when I used to get whoopings, after the whooping, maybe an hour or two later, or maybe even the next day, my dad or my mom would come in and have a conversation with me and say, "Listen, I whooped you because I love you. But that's not you normal. Don't get to X, Y, and Z.
That's not normal in the Black household.
It should, but we should normalize that conversation then."
And I get that, because that's the way I parent, because I didn't get that. But when mom come in the household and smack the shit out you don't get an explanation. She don't come in the house and say she's sorry. The way that Black moms say they sorry is coming in the room the next day and saying, "You want a new toy?" That's
toxic, and we shouldn't do that anymore. There has to be. You can't just think that because then there's no explanation. It's like, whoa, what am I even being disciplined for? You remember getting butt whoopings, and they'd be like, "I told you not to
Absolutely.
And but there has to be some balance, right? And so with discipline, what I'm saying is, and maybe this is outside of the scope of this child. With discipline, there has to be that added structure to say, this is why I beat your ass last night. Because what you're not going to do is think that you're going to go into this school and terrorize your teachers, the students, and this and that, because it's important to do that. Because I would rather whip my child than the world whip my child, because they're going to get out into this world and they're going to have to deal with all different cycles of people, and they need to know how to conduct themselves in a particular manner to protect themselves. So if I need to break them down from bad habits, I absolutely am going to do that. But with that has to be a lesson in that. It has to be a teaching in that, because when that is absent, then you're just whooping without cause, because then you're just thinking as a kid, like a kid, their mind is still growing. They don't know. They know, but they don't know enough. And that, I know in a lot of conversations you and I have had, like you grow up one day and you think like, that's why my mom and dad did this, and that. You see what I'm saying? And so you don't even respect your parents until you get to a particular age and you're thinking, okay, I see why you were the way you were.
So this is what I'm going to say is so that we can move on to the next subject. I agree with everything you're saying. And I actually parent the way that you're saying because of how I was raised. But for the instance of what we're talking about specifically, this kid didn't need all of that in order to deter his behavior from killing his mom. What I'm saying is he just needed his ass whooped. I don't care if it was explanation or not. That would deter and put the fear of God in him not to put his hands on his mom. And what I'm saying is that most of us, a lot of Black boys and girls, grew up in toxic environments and households, especially single parent households, in which, and that's why I'm comparing it to, because yes, we grew up not having an explanation, and some of it caused us to have anxiety and different things in our relationships, but we damn sure wasn't thinking about killing our mom. That wasn't an option.
And that's why I'm saying this is totally like
the option. Mom,
kill your mom? No. Over a video game? No. You didn't even want it. No.
These topics too good. I don't want to spend too much. I could spend another hour talking about ass whoopings. I need a job. You need to elect me as the ass whooping for the United States, the ass whooper.
Listen, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do it for the culture. I got a couple things I want to talk about. And of course, we got to talk about Blueface and Krishan having their baby and the drama that's been
Krishan Jr.
Stay tuned. You're watching Clapback Culture.
Clapback.
What I would say to that future entrepreneur is self-care. I think that the process of building a business and wearing all the hats that come with that can be very challenging. And sometimes we miss out on really cool, important opportunities with people we love and within our community. And although we make an impact as entrepreneurs, to people in our community, especially like with our families, like not only from a financial standpoint, but just from them seeing you live your dreams, it can inspire the people in your house and the folks around you. But I also think that entrepreneurship can be hard, and sometimes you don't think about taking care of yourself. And I think that should be something that's planned from the very beginning when you start to think about owning a business.
Immerse yourself in the healing waters of Het Heru for the Het Heru Healing Conference as renowned Het Heru healing dance creator Queen Mother Maj Tamamin guide you on a transformative journey of peace and joy. So mark your calendars on September 15th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and September 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute. Reserve your spot now for only $25. Follow us on Instagram at AsarAsatWA to secure your tickets. Let the rhythm move you and let the healing begin.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Clap Back Culture. All right, Rado, we're nearing the end of our show. So we're going to talk about this topic really quick. And then I want to move on to talk about Blueface and Krishan. Okay. Love and Hip Hop stars, if you will, Spice and Erica Mena had an argument that stirred up a conversation about racism. And so fans in the cast are pretty much split on whether or not Love and Hip Hop should have fired Erica Mena for calling Spice a racial slur. We have a clip about that kind of explains the conversation, but I want to get your take to see if Love and Hip Hop production team has any responsibility in the matter.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star Erica Mena is under hot water after comments she made towards Spice. If you missed tonight's episode, Shekinah set up a meeting between Spice and Erica so that they could discuss things that Safari told Spice. If you've been living under a rock, Erica Mena and Safari were married for almost 2 years and they have 2 children together. Well, Safari had mentioned to Spice that when he was crying over Spice's rumored passing after her surgery in Dominican Republic, Erica asked why did he care so much, or something to that effect. Anyway, when the ladies sat down to talk, things got extremely heated as they played a ping pong game of nasty insults. But all hell broke loose when Spice spoke about Erica's older son.
I feel like you're acting like you're the first woman to be divorced and you're the first woman that's left with 2 children to fend for. I've been doing it for 14 years.
Erica Mena then added that she has been a single parent for 16 years, and that's when Spice delivered the low blow.
I've been doing it for nowhere, 16, okay? 16. Okay, with 16, your son that don't like you.
And obviously that didn't sit well with Erica. She went bonkers. She got up and flipped the entire table and started screaming and referencing Spice's hospitalization and says that she should have died.
That bitch should have died. You want to mention my kid? You should have died, bitch. You monkey. You blue monkey.
All right, so that's a clip that has been circulating social media, and it's of Erica referring to Spice as a racial slur. As we know, historically, Black people have been referred to as monkeys. And so here's my quick take on this. And again, I don't want to take too much time on this, but I do want to get your thoughts. I feel like Love and Hip Hop is the pot that they call the kettle black, because how is it that all of a sudden there's so many other violent things that have happened on not only this production, but on various other productions with other celebrities on the platform, if you will. Eric, before they even go into these conversations, the producers are saying they're amping you up. They're loading you up to be angry, to be feisty, to get aggressive, to be violent. These are fighting words. So I'm just confused at what the objective was. So the producers wanted her to fight. They wanted her to say these derogatory things. And now all of a sudden she says she calls Spice a monkey. It's a racial slur. So everybody's totally up in arms about the stuff. I don't get it. I think the outrage that Love and Hip Hop has is just like, they need to be looking inward at themselves to think that you guys are perpetuating the problem. So yeah, Erica did take it too far by saying something that she probably already felt, right? However, you guys are feeding them with alcohol, fueling them up and getting them all, riled up, and then sending them into the ring. And then you're mad when they start scrapping. I don't get it. It blows my mind that she would get fired for something that they set up themselves.
Man, Love and Hip Hop they're getting soft. I mean, this is Love and Hip Hop. This is what the show was aired for mess. It's not really giving anytime you have to like think about if something is racist, it's not given when it's black on black, period. You know what I'm saying? They don't hit the same. Had it would have been someone, and we can say Erica Menda or Mendez is, or Mena, Erica Mena is of Spanish descent, but we know the rule. You got a little bit of color and you're black. You are a person of color, so stop what you're doing. All this was about Safari and two women who always get into mess over Safari or over some guys. It was, I know it was wrong that they fired her. Nobody, can you tell me someone who's got fired from Love and Hip Hop?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't follow the show anymore because it's just so stupid.
Remember like the it wasn't Bambi. What was the one that used to drink a lot? Tommy was like taken off of the show a few times, but never fired. And this is because Erica Mena is like, she's a big figure. She's somebody who kind of like helped Love and Hip Hop be what they are now, right? Because it's so crazy. But they're totally wrong, you know. To fire her for something as little like this is crazy. Yes, you could call her a dumb, stupid bee, whore. I mean, we could think about crazy names, but the second you say monkey, oh my God. So
and that's what I'm saying. The selective outrage is ridiculous. It's the whole scene is out of control, but then it's like that one part. It's like, oh my God, we're gonna.
It's normal, yeah. I mean, but we're not talking about your kids should die, but it's okay to say monkey. That's not what you're doing. But this is normal. So let's just get to the next T, please.
Well, look, we have to take a quick commercial break. So we're going to take that commercial. But when we come back, Blueface and Krishan Jr. Stay tuned.
I think my pieces of advice would be come in with humility, enjoy your passion, and be ready to work. Those are my three things. I think if you think your product is perfect and you may not need to adjust, your product's gonna die quickly because the world adjusts, people adjust. You need to always be thinking about your customer and what they want. So you may have an idea of what you like, but you got to move that to what the customer likes also. And two, just enjoy your job. I love what I do. It is hard. I love what I do. It's hard, and you're fighting Mother Nature, and you're fighting inflation and all these other things. But I think it's made me a better human being. And thirdly, like, be ready to work. Don't be lazy. Like, just do the research. Get a mentor. Like, you know, that also goes with being humble. Like, find somebody who's done it, and then work with them to help you be the best version of yourself.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, and the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
1 in every 500 African Americans in the U.S. suffers from sickle cell disease. 1 in 3 African American blood donors is a match for patients with sickle cell. 1 appointment to donate blood with the American Red Cross can help save a life. Will you be that one? Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood today to schedule an appointment at a location near you.
Welcome back to Clapback. So, Blueface and Krishan welcomed their beautiful baby boy over the weekend, and Krishan delivered the baby in Baltimore, Maryland. Surrounded by.
She was in Baltimore.
She was in Baltimore. She gave birth to the baby in Baltimore, where she is from. Blueface had. They're basically, the two of them are going back and forth on Twitter. Krishan had the baby on Instagram Live. Like, the entire thing was on Instagram Live. Blueface was, basically posted out a tweet following him being in Miami with his other baby mother, partying it up as she was delivering, that she planned this birth, that she, forced herself into labor. And how is it that her hair and her nails, her makeup were done the whole time that she was giving birth? Well, today, Krishan took to Instagram Live and disputed Blueface's claims and saying that she didn't plan to give birth and that she showed the screenshots that, she was 2 centimeters dilated and that if he could just leave Miami where he was partying from, that she was in Baltimore and then she was in Baltimore with her homegirls doing a show. Blueface alleged that she was in Baltimore for Lil Baby. So it's not true. Obviously, we know Krishan's number one guy is still Blueface. She has Blueface tatted 12 different times on here. This is such an interesting.
What's this Lil Baby thing? Why is he so obsessed with Lil Baby? And if Lil Baby like her or don't like her, like.
Well, that's control. That's the whole pimp mentality. Like Blueface is. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get my earring, but I guess for the
let me take over while you're looking for that. Okay, I'll be taking over Clapback for the moment while she looks for her earring. But let's just start off with this, right? So Blueface one, definitely is a clown. This is the most toxic relationship ever, right? I think it's the most toxic relationship that's ever been shown on national TV, on any media stream, just to the world, period, right? They're both out of control. Can we just first off start off? This woman empowerment thing is getting too crazy. Women, this whole independent movement, I'm sick of it. I'm tired. Y'all better stop thinking that y'all don't need us before we really turn around us men, right? How do you name a child? How do you name a junior after the mom? That's crazy.
You know what makes that so funny to me is that he is gonna have, as much as he hates Krishan, he's gonna have to look at his baby and call Krishan. Yeah. Can you imagine when his baby mother is like holding the baby, like, oh, hi, Krishan.
Oh my goodness.
It's like toxic meets toxic.
But time out. Now that you putting it like that, I would not. It doesn't dawn on me that Krishan did that on purpose. Like the ultimate pettiness. Like, okay, my son has to come over your house with your baby mom, who I can't stand. The baby's going to be named. Krishan's name is going to be in that house.
Krishan Malone. So you could call the baby CJ if you want to, but his name is Krishan. It's the mess.
Crazy.
It's the ultimate petty card.
Naming your child a junior and you're a mom is insane.
It's a petty move.
Yeah.
For Blueface. Listen, this whole thing is a hot mess. And to your point, we have to stop investing in this couple because they're going. When I say they're going back and forth, they're going back and forth. But
we can't stop watching it. It's like as soon as they come on, it's like, let's go get the popcorn. You want to tell them to stop, but it's like, what's about to happen now?
Yeah, it's more and more. Another thing too is Krishan is 22.
For real?
She's young. I don't know what. She's 22.
That face old though.
She's been through a lot. She's been through hell and back. She's a 22-year-old girl.
That face giving 38. And I love women that's 38, by the way, but not when you're 22. So let's not do that because it's beautiful women that's 50, but that face giving 40. And why she keep playing with that tooth? No man like women without teeth. She need to put that tooth in there and keep it. Like, stop playing with that tooth.
I agree.
Every time she takes it out, a piece of her goes away. Like her points. Like if people feel she's an 8, every time she take it out, she goes to a 7.5. Take it out.
Take it out. She never puts it in.
Yeah, that is out of control.
But it's almost like her branding now, like Krishan without the tooth. This is I hope they're getting paid to demonstrate all of this stuff because and I wish somebody strong around her would take her phone and say, listen, go bond with your child now.
She don't have nobody that's doing that.
She don't. She doesn't. She must not be, or are they not somebody strong enough to have an influence on her to say, put your phone down and go focus on this little boy that you just had. Because outside of the circus, if you will, is a small baby that was just brought into this world under kind of the worst circumstances.
Can I give you a little backstory though? So Krishan is operating in this chaos, right? But Blueface is a normalcy to her. Now you about to sit there and say, well, Ryder, how in the hell can Blueface be normal? He exhibits physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, social abuse on all different levels, right? But if you know anything about Krishan, her father was raping some of the sisters. Her mom's was very abusive. The father was very abusive.
Yep.
They were abandoned. They was in
foster care. Yep.
Foster care. She was molested. I mean, her whole life has been so chaotic that the chaotic behavior in which Blueface exhibits is her normalcy. Right?
Absolutely.
So while we're all looking at this thing like, oh my, how can you do that? How can you go through this? Y'all don't know her story. This is a young black woman, young black child, who's 22 going on 40, who exhibits this kind of behavior, like being aggressive is what she loves. And she's so beautiful inside out. Social media has this thing, right, where they show you all the good times of a person's life before they bash you. And they show Krishan, and she's this small little thing, perfect body. Her face was great, glowing, everything. She was so she was just so happy, right? She was an athlete. She was running track, and she just looked phenomenal. And I'm looking at her from then and now, and I'm like, baby, when did the smoking happen? The drinking happen?
Yeah.
The happen? It's like this man came in and basically is a split image of who her dad was. Sorry to say.
And you know what? Blueface is young too. Blueface is only 26. He has 2 kids before this baby he had with Krishan.
And not to cut you off, what did Blueface mom teach him and his brother?
And that's the point that I was bringing up is that well, I don't know if this is specific.
Both of them. It was both of them. It's confirmed.
Well, go ahead. Say what she taught him.
Blueface mom taught Blueface and the brother how to eat pussy. That is out of control.
That's disgusting. And that's what this is what I'm saying. The lines, the way the both of them grew up, they don't have normal solid foundations in terms of how they grew up. So they're operating in a space of trauma and toxicity because that's where they both come from. Blueface's mother has inserted herself so many times that she even went as far as saying that she is related to Krishan's mother and that they're distant cousins.
Then she said Blueface dick ain't bigger than her boyfriend's. I'm like, what are we talking?
It gives like it's very, I mean, listen, it's super like you can't make it up. She wants to, it's almost like she wants to date her own son.
Absolutely.
The way that she inserts herself into his life and his relationships and so on and so forth. And what I'm saying is that is a level of trauma that Blueface has to overcome. Another thing too is on the West Coast, a lot of young men are taught about pimping, and the way that I watch Blueface operate in the relationship with Krishan is very much like a pimp and very much like that whole mind control and being able to control their financials, the way that they dress, the way that they communicate, who they decide to communicate with. His ego is so fragile that he was mad that she took a selfie with Rick Ross. He wants so badly to be able to control every single one of her movements to kind of keep her under the pocket. Listen, Krishan is still an East Coast girl, so that cycle is not really the same thing. But that pimping, I see you, Tori. Pimping is so serious on the West Coast. That pimping mentality is real, you guys. And I've seen a lot of females growing up fall victims to that game. And here's the caveat to that. She probably enjoyed it in the beginning because when you're somebody's bottom bitch, you are revered in a different way. So when he was cuffing her in the beginning, you get the top of everything. Like, he's investing into you. He's loving on you. You guys are probably having incredible sex. He's uplifting you in different ways. He's presenting you to the world. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. But the moment that fame and stuff became too much, he said, oh, no. I still control you and I still own you, because other people then started saying, oh, Chrisean, we like your personality. We like this. We like this. Can you come here? Can you come do that? Can you do this? And then he knows that then strips away his ability to control.
It's so much I have to say, y'all, but we 2 minutes over time. Jules kind of took this thing, and I got so much to say. I promise you guys, I'm going to give you guys that tea on the next show, man. But until then, Jules, let them know where they can find you.
Thank you very much. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Treasure of Jules. You know what it is. Pull up, follow me. Let me know what you want to talk about next week.
And you guys can catch me on all platforms at Rado007, including Gmail.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to another Thursday episode of Clapback Culture.
Love you.
Until then, stay peaceful.
This is for Cleveland.
Who's Cleveland?
Clap back.
Clap back. Peace.
Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.